Greetings to you all, ladies and gentlemen. I am Emmanuel Makasa of the Zambian Permanent Mission here in Geneva, and it's my distinct privilege to address the G4 Alliance today. I am an orthopedic surgeon by training, and like I said earlier, I also hold the privilege of representing my government, and that's the government of the Republic of Zambia, in my capacity as Counselor Health at our permanent mission to the United Nations here in Geneva. This year, 2014, I also had the rare opportunity to be the coordinator of the African Group of Health Experts here in Geneva. The African Group of Health Experts is basically a group of all health attaches from permanent missions of the African continent at the United Nations here in Geneva. Firstly, I wish to apologize that I could not be there with you in person. This is because of a clash of programs. Like I said, as coordinator, unfortunately, I have to stick around and coordinate my group, which is the African group, through the 35th Program Coordinating Board meeting at the UN AIDS that takes place around the same time as the G4 Alliance meeting in London. And so this is the reason why I could not come, and sincere apologies for that. Secondly, let me state that it is my privilege to accept the nomination as a member of the Honorary Council of the Global Alliance for Surgical, Obstetrical, Trauma and Anesthesia Care, or otherwise also known as the G4 Alliance. I think the formation of this alliance is very timely in organizing the voice of our community to influence policymakers, funders, and the public directly, and bring the issues of essential access to safe surgical, anesthesia, obstetric and trauma care to the global health agenda. Thirdly, let me begin by expressing my gratitude to the G4 Alliance for supporting my recent letter to the WHO and World Bank leadership calling for the inclusion of surgical indicators, which was published in The Lancet recently. More than 130 organizations rallied behind this cause, and this was due in large part to the efforts of the G4 Alliance to mobilize this support, as well as each one of you who put aside your busy schedules, your differences, and responded as one voice when asked to support your community. Fourthly, let me state what everyone who is in that room right now already knows. And this is that the lack of access to surgical, obstetric, and anesthesia care is a serious global health problem, a serious public health problem, which is impacting millions of our citizens around the world. The government of Trinidad and Tobago was the most recent host of the World Health Organization GISC program meeting in 2013, which was followed by the World Congress of Surgery, Obstetrics, Trauma and Anesthesia, which brought together about 400 of the world's leading clinical and policy experts around the issue of strengthening surgical anesthesia services worldwide. I was among those who participated in the meeting in Trinidad and Tobago, and since then, it has been my pleasure in leading the charge of getting the World Health Organization pass a resolution that will see the strengthening of surgical and anesthesia services, especially in the least developed countries. This is especially timely as the World Health Assembly resolution that relates to surgical and anesthesia care will be tabled at the WHO's Executive Board meeting in January 2015 under Agenda Item 10.1. And once this is discussed and receives consensus, the issue then will move to the World Health Assembly in May for adoption of the resolution. To that end, let me give you therefore the latest as regards the work on the draft resolution that's going on here in Geneva. To start with, the co-sponsoring member states, these are Australia, Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal, Rwanda, the United States of America, and Zambia, have just completed the initial drafting sessions of our draft 0 of the resolution. The next step will be that on January 12th and January 19th, 2015, we will commence negotiations with all member states so we can go through the draft text of the resolution for the sake of consensus. Once we receive consensus, the resolution then will go to the EB. But if we don't achieve consensus before the EB, the negotiations will continue after the EB and before the World Health Assembly, and hopefully, and I'm confident that we will achieve consensus then, though I'm very sure that we will get consensus before the Executive Board meeting, because this agenda item remains essentially a technical issue. Once it goes to the Assembly, that will be the time for adoption, and once it's adopted, then it will go to each member state for implementation. Your role during this period basically is to continue to lobby the government representatives, especially the delegates who come to the EB, to come and support this agenda item. You could also input your comments or the issues that you want included in the resolution, so it comes through these member states to the negotiating table, because unfortunately the negotiations are only open to member states. And so any civil society organization, any professional organization, any institution that has specific issues that they want reflected in the resolution will have to channel these through the government representatives that come to the Executive Board, or indeed to the informal consultations for their incorporation and negotiations. So that's your role before the EB or before the Assembly. And after the Assembly, of course, as professional organizations, I'm sure you take a keen role in ensuring that this resolution actually comes to fruition, so that the issues and the measures that are going to be articulated in the resolution are implemented, so our people can actually receive the service that we talk about. Secretariat has also prepared a detailed report for the Executive Board. This was according to the request that was given to Secretariat at the 135th Executive Board meeting in May, June 2014. So this report has been prepared and it will go straight to the EB. Finally, I believe the G4 Alliance has a critical role in this advocacy work as we work together to influence policy makers and major international funders and ourselves as member states, of course, to invest directly in the human resources and training for essential and emergency surgical services and anesthesia. We need to invest in infrastructure and equipment, especially at the district level where these services are absent and are critically needed. We also need to address issues of consistency and availability of surgical supplies and essential medicines that are important for these services. To that end, as permanent council members of the G4 Alliance, your voice as representatives of each of your organizations is essential to ensure that not only is your voice being heard together as an alliance, but that the right message is being put across. That's very important, the right message. So I look forward to having your support and cooperation as we rally our country level representatives to support the resolution. Importantly, I think the G4 Alliance can have an important role in continuing to drive the global health agenda after passing of the resolution, and I look forward to working with each one of you in this context. My sincere thanks to each of you and other members of the G4 Alliance for this opportunity to address you. Again, my apologies that I could not be there with you in person for this historic board meeting. My warmest wishes to each of you and congratulations to you and the organization that you are representing for their participation in the G4 Alliance as an inaugural participant organization. Looking forward to meeting you in person, and thank you very much. God bless you all. Thanks.